All right, guys, we'll take questions. Please wait for the mic to be passed around. Start with Dan in the front row.
Jesse, with Dax returning tonight to Red Bull Arena and the way it looked out there between both the Red Bulls and the Fire, and I know it's only 2 months into the season, but did this feel like a mid-season match, end-of-the-season match for points that you really need to get out of?
Yeah, I think there's a number of factors. Obviously, Dax coming back brings a lot of energy to the game. And then, they have done well this year, and they want to establish themselves as a better team. And so a big part of that includes being good on the road, which, in their recent history, it's been difficult for them. So they came here and they knew that, we've been good at home, and they've spoken highly of us, which we appreciate, but we knew that we were going to get a really good effort from them, and they came in and played, gave us a run for our money and had some good moments. So yeah, it had a high energy feel to it, and that's the best. That's what makes this job great, is when you have these kind of games that even earlier in the year that feel like big games. So yeah, overall I thought that was good for us and good for the game.
You guys kind of came out a little bit slow, a little bit nervy at times. Was it the occasion, the size of the match, or maybe the importance of the match, or something else?
Well, I think, it was partly the energy of the match, but I think that, it was just now making sure that we were clear on the day what was going to make us successful. We made some adjustments at half for that, and I thought that we were a little bit more aggressive to play forward in the second half. But then there was a moment in there before their goal, that they were able to possess a little bit and pull us from side to side. This was their tactic. Okay, their tactic was to either play up to Connor Lade and try to win that aerial duel and pick up second balls, or to, at all costs, just blindly switch the ball. So we've seen it before. We know that that's a potential tactic against us. And for the most part, we did okay with it, but there were some points where they were pulling us apart.
Go Eduardo and then Jack.
Can you talk a little bit about what this game meant to you? Because I never saw you fire up like today. Like you were running, holding your hands, doing a lot of stuff that I never see you doing before.
Yeah, I don't know. The last couple of games, because tactically there's a lot going on in the game, I felt that I've been up off the bench yelling more, just trying to make it clear to guys. I prefer not to do that. But if you feel like that's important to try and help the guys within the game, and that's the last two halves, I've talked a lot about tactics and a lot about little adjustments to make so that we can be better. And so usually, if I'm not yelling at the refs, that's what I'm trying to get the word out to the team. So yeah, I mean, I felt that this game was really important from a points perspective, because we got two big, tough games coming up on the road, and to get this 3 points at home was going to help us continue to have momentum.
Jesse, regardless of the circumstances, do you think that there sometimes is a tendency to make too much of whoever the player is, one player, either coming or going, that it might mean more to the fans than perhaps you and the rest of the players?
Listen, in terms of Dax's role in tonight and role with the fans, this is what it should be. I think that's what it should be. There should be an attachment to big players that have been in the club, and obviously the club always comes first. But there's strong relationships that have been built over time. This club has a lot of big faces and big names that have been a part of it, and the fans should enjoy those players and always treat them like their family. So that's important. I think, I said earlier this week that it was important for Dax to come back here, feel like, appreciate the moments that he had here, for people to show appreciation to him, including the fans. And then it was also good, I think, a good game for us, a good game for them, a good game for the league. There's a lot of attention paid to it. So that's the way it should be. And then Dax makes a big play for him too. So, but I also, listen, what's most important for us specifically is that we have such a strong belief in the team that we have here and the group that we have here and how we do things and what we're building. And, I think that we've already in this short season learned so much about ourselves and continued to get better and And now we'll have to put it to the test in this week, because it's going to be a very hard week, and we'll find out more about ourselves in the next week. So this is what this job is. It's trying to build things up, put it to the test, build it up again, put it to the test. So overall, right now, after the last 4 games, I'm really pleased.
In the front to Ives.
The last 2 years, you've seen Dax make big plays for you. Now today, he's he brings it every game, but today he seemed really up for this one. Makes the big play on their goal.
Yeah.
What was it like being like he's not your player anymore? You kind
Yeah.
of how was that in your head? And
Yeah,
the
it's so
battle in
weird.
midfield. The battle in midfield. What was that like?
Yeah. That part was a little weird. I mean, listen, I felt like their guys in the midfield were pretty quiet, right? And until Dax made that play, I thought that the 3 in the middle were pretty quiet, and we did a pretty good job of winning that battle and managing that. But then, obviously, you knew Dax had, he's waiting for that moment, and there was a set piece early where the ball was bouncing around and maybe he could have gotten a foot on it, but, good for him. Good for him. And then in general, yeah, I thought that, even though we weren't at our best at certain moments in terms of what we did with the ball, we made it very difficult for them. We counter-pressed. We closed things down. The only way they were really able to hurt us were on some of these big switches and a couple plays that get through our line in the first half. But, overall, the thing we talked about after the game is that each guy put so much into the game physically. Like they won our battles, won our duels, won second balls, won aerial battles, won tackles. And, as much as we try to emphasize tactics so much, it's so often going to come down to, on the day, who wants it more. And so it would have been easy when we went 1-1 to sort of start to tremble a little and now maybe pack it in. And sometimes we've done that in the past. But this group kept going, and we try. From my perspective, I'm trying to figure out how to make subs to help the game. But guys stayed after the game and wound up getting the 3 points.
Eric?
Jesse, you said that you were beaten a lot over, not a lot, but they try to go over the top. And it seemed that every situation where they really created danger was when they hit the ball over the top. You played a little bit of a high line, perhaps to press the midfield. Are you a little concerned that if you continue to play the high line that you may get beaten more often over the top?
We've given up 4 goals from the run of play in 10 games, right? Are we at 9 or 10? 9? 10. 10. We're 5-3-1? No, 9. So we've given up 4 goals in the run of play in 9 games, and a lot of it is because of some of our defensive tactics. A lot of it is because of some of the relationships and understanding of what we do with the back line. Obviously, when we compress the field, the danger is always that there's a place to be played behind. But we find that it's just as dangerous if our line is too deep and teams are able to slice through us. So it's you've got to move the line aggressively, but in a smart way. And that's a tactic, right? And that's a tactic that we emphasize and work on daily. So, it's sometimes about the recovery and making sure that you're ready when there are breakdowns to really recover and make it hard on them. And then sometimes, Luis has to come up with some saves,
Wrap up with one from
which
Dan.
he did tonight.
Was Kemar really going for goal, or do you think that was a pass?
I'll let him tell you that. But I'll say this, he also played a ball that was similar to that in Atlanta, right? And it ended up in an own goal. So, whether it was that's part of the idea when you play balls like that is to make them threatening, but also potentially balls that can go into the goal. So, I'll let him answer that. But it was a good play, and Brad was a little bit unlucky not to get on the end of it. That we were a little bit lucky it went through his legs, but it's a dangerous ball. It's a dangerous ball.
Jesse, thank you.
That's it. Thank you.